What up, YouTube? Got another video for you guys today, and this is like I mentioned in a previous video that I had a fixed blade that I had done some modifications to. And actually, you guys already know this. This is going to be the final chapter, final installment of the Hibben for Rambo knife, machete, whatever you want to call her. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the way it looked like. You can go back to my previous videos and seeing exactly what it looked like when I started, after acid treatment, shaping the handle, and all that good stuff. Because I kind of did like a 6-part video on just acid wash tutorial type of deal. But just in case you don't want to go through there, because I know sometimes I get lazy myself. Here's an internet picture of what she used to look like originally. Basically 14 inches long, 1095 carbon steel, pretty much leaf spring steel. You know, it's pretty cool. It's a big, beefy, nasty knife, you know, not really all too practical. Handle is just basically was like 1 3/4 inches wide with a leather wrap on there, and just totally uncomfortable and unbearable. Just the handle was just horrible. It just felt like crap. I mean, it's just really cool. The grind sucked on it. You're talking about the 1/4 inch thick stock going into just pretty much, that's the edge on it. Some big, bulky, fat. I mean, it's just a steep, or just a really laid back grind to it, excuse me, that just wouldn't cut through anything. I mean, the sheer weight is, if it went through anything, it was the weight behind it that actually went through there. It'd break stuff as opposed to cut it. So that was all reprofiled, yada, yada, yada. Enough about that. We'll go and look at what you clicked on the video for. Okay, let's back this up a little bit. If I get the focus to go. Alright, here we go. That's better. Oh, let me go back. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, here we go. Haven't gotten a new sheath for it yet. Do a Kydex sheath for it when I get a chance. This sheath is just, you know, decent quality leather, but it's just big and just goofy, really. Belt loop attachment, string on the bottom, very limited to, you know, you just got to wear it just like Sly did in the movie, which is kind of dumb, or whatever, as big as this is. I don't know. Like, it's kind of not very, this is not too practical of a knife or machete, guys. This is just a really cool, it's just a cool factor of it. Let's take a look at her. Okay. There she is. Get rid of this. So you see this, guys. Alright. Here, let's look at that. Okay. That used to be this. That's a pretty drastic change. And just to go over real quick what I did with it. This edge has been, it's a full high convex all the way to about right there. A lot of steel was taken off of this. I mean, I must have reground it. I went through a bunch of belts grinding this through, trying to get it to just a whole lot better and more, you know, functional to process wood or to cut or do whatever. You know, of course, having to do that, the original finish on this knife or this blade when you get it is gorgeous. They did a really good job with the finish. It's really just a really cool, like, it's shiny, but it's a really dark bronze-ish type of just a really gorgeous finish. But it was a shame that that I had to get rid of it, because I had to, you know, grind all the metal off and get that the grind taken care of, because that ultimately is more important than the aesthetics of it, just the function. So when I did that, I had to get rid of that finish. After I did that, I had to bring it back. You guys see the acid wash tutorial. I got it to a pretty much a nice gray tone all the way around on there. I looked at the blade. It performed a lot better, but I even brought the grind higher. Super high, right about to here, all the way. So so when I did that, I had to re-acid treat it again. But I did a 2-tone acid treatment this time. This one in the this blade has gone in the acid probably about 5 times since I first got it. You know, a couple times in the beginning to get it dark, and then I did some more edge work on there, so it had to be done again. And then it went in twice just recently when I did these scales on here. And basically what I did is I went ahead and did my little distress pattern on there. and then I took it out, and then I did a little bit more to give it more depth. I mean, there's probably about, I mean, this is so many shades of gray, it's not even funny. I mean, just really turned out really cool, and it just really random and very weathered and distressed looked, and it kind of suits the whole entire blade here. The handle, biggest difference of the whole thing. As you can see, a lot of steel taken off the top, a lot of steel. Remember, the 1 3/4 was that handle. This right here is about, this right here is just a little under 1 inch, and this is about 1 1/4 inches. So just to give you an idea how much steel was brought up. Now as you can see, the contour from here all the way, it's like a two-step, and it works really, really well. Now, and I'll show you why. Basically, the groove, you see how I did this pattern on the handle? It wasn't for aesthetics to make it look cool, it was simply for function. When you put your hand in here, these fingers fit right here, and there's a groove right here, your thumb fits there. Basically, I put my hand around the handle and drew it out with a Sharpie, the angle it needed to be when you held the knife, and that's what I went with. Both sides. For lefties or righties or whatever. I'm right-handed, so I really didn't need to do the other side, but I did it to make them look more uniform. So I did that. Scotch-Brite of the handle's really good to kind of really even that out there. What I ended up doing, because this was this scale was like perfect. Like perfectly geometrical, and everything was even and beveled down, and then it was just too perfect for this handle, so I went back in and kind of randomized inside the grooves there, Scotch-Brited it over, and it definitely added to that, and that's why it's kind of texture, and it feels really good. So anyway, as far as the handle goes, intended to hold back here when you're swinging it. So as you can see, your 3 fingers and then your pointer finger goes there, and that's relaxed, and it feels really good. Plenty of room still back here if you have a larger hand than I do, or you're a big guy, it'll fit fine. Another thing also, you could choke up on it. 2 fingers can fit in here very comfortably, whether you have my size hands, smaller or larger, no problem. That ramp, as you can see, my thumb fits right in there. I kind of, when I do these things, I'll grab the blade and kind of feel it out, and I'll have to go back, and it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but it's just really, it's really important to me to get it to feel good, especially this knife weighing over 2 pounds. I think it was like 3, so if you read the specs on it, you can look on one of my old videos, I have all the specs right now. This thing is still heavy, so ergonomics and the handle and this and that, you need everything, you need all that stuff going for you just to compensate for the overbearing weight of this knife. So I took a lot of time into the handle and whatnot. Another cool thing about it that I noticed, and it just was totally by accident, I didn't intend it. If you were to come and, let's say if you were processing a piece of wood towards you, your 2 fingers, my 2 fingers happen to fit right here, and when I squeeze here, and then when I squeeze my hand here, you see how my thumb just happens to sit and cradle right there, and it's like it fits there perfect. This son of a gun fits, I mean, it's just way comfortable if you were doing a draw cutting. It's just one of those things that accidentally worked out. So I didn't add jimping to it. I go crazy over jimping, but I didn't add it to this. Didn't feel like it needed it. And that's pretty much it there. So it took me a while. I've owned this for a long time and had started this project months and months and months and months ago. And I was always planning to do G10 scales on it and all this other stuff, but had no clue about going to do it. No equipment to do any kind of G10 scales, no nothing. I just went in and all I had was a 1x30, and I did whatever I could with the 1x30. And because I've been doing a lot of scale work lately and messing with knives or whatever, I just looked in the corner and remembered it and decided to finish it up. And now that I have a lot more equipment and materials, I was able to finish up, and a little bit more know-how. So I'm glad I tackled it now as opposed to then, because I think I ended up with something better. So anyway, guys, here she is. I posted this up on Instagram. My Instagram is just like my name here, not Dave Maddock 1, but David Angulo, just like you see there. You can follow me there, but I usually post pictures of what I've got going on there, and then eventually get around to the video, just because, like everybody else said, it's just easier to do it that way. But anyway, guys, just let me know what you think about this. I really like it. I haven't had a chance to chop anything with it yet, but I will. I'm going to put this up against the Kuma Battle Cleaver and see which one fares better, although this is 14 inches and the Kuma cleaver is 2 inches shorter. A little less weight, maybe an unfair advantage, but we're talking 2 different grinds. It'd just be fun to kind of mess around with. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think, definitely. Post it below. Thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.